47 Minecraft mob facts you possibly didn't know. Minecraft has dozens of mobs to choose from, and with more getting added in, especially in recent updates, it can be tough to keep track of everything. So today, we're joined by the channel BlockFacts to catch you up on the Minecraft mob info you maybe missed. And hey, as you can see from this number, we are getting painfully close to 3 million subscribers. It's so close we could hit this week if you subscribe. So if you enjoy the video, consider checking that red button below. It's free, and it helps out a ton. Number 1. Arguably the cutest addition in the Caves and Cliffs update is the new axolotl mob. And while all of the colors are great, the blue variant is definitely the most sought after. And strangely enough, this is the only color that's not based off real life, but rather it was a suggestion from user Dark Ice Flame asking for an Easter egg to Mudkip from Pokemon, though I'd still say it looks more like Wooper. Number 2. If you've been raiding bastions in the Nether, then you know that it takes plenty of luck to find the Pig Step disc. But apparently, that's not the only rare Pig Step in the game, since as a snapshot 20W22A, piglins will occasionally dance after hoglin hunting. So if you're part of that lucky few who gets to see it, this will definitely establish you some dominance.
Number 3. Sheep haven't always been the colours that we're all used to. In the 1.4 update, the colours of all type of sheep were changed, some of them pretty drastically. The light blue sheep looks completely different now compared to what it looked like back in 2011. They were made even more vibrant in the 1.12 World of Colour update.
Number 4. Now, on their own, the villagers don't seem particularly fast, but that's just because we don't see them under pressure. As soon as a villager is under the panic of nightfall, these Squidwards can get some serious speed going, and in fact, they actually move faster than Steve's sprinting speed, which is definitely impressive, and if they move that speed all the time, maybe they wouldn't need golems. Number 5. Arguably the weirdest Easter egg in Minecraft happens when you mix evokers and blue sheep. With those conditions, the wizard will cast a spell and change the blue wool to red instead, which is odd, but it's apparently a reference to another Microsoft game, Age of Empires, where the priest can turn enemy units into friendly ones, and that'd be why you hear this sound as well. It's from the game.
Number 6. You can't normally put a saddle on a baby strider. Mojang just didn't intend for it. However, if commands are used to saddle a baby strider and you try to ride the baby strider, you'll actually take fire damage because of how close your body is to the lava. The saddle looks really pixelated as well when equipped on one. They're really cute, so I guess it's unfair to make them work for you.
Number 7. Bats don't tend to get a lot of attention. After all, they don't drop anything, so we mostly just leave them be. But if you keep getting annoyed by these flying rats, there might be a reason for that. You see, between October 20th and November 3rd, these mobs spawn more frequently as a reference to Halloween. And that's cute, but the bats are still pointless. Number 8. While some Minecraft mobs are speedy, I feel like the bulk of them aren't all that fast. But have you ever wondered which one is the slowest? Well, the answer is the panda. Though not just any panda, but specifically the lazy panda variant. Without using status effects like slowness, this is the slowest possible land mob in the game. And seeing it in motion, I'd have to agree. Number 9. Now, while everyone else searches for the 0.083% chance of finding a blue axolotl, there's one color that's even harder to find. As you can see when we watch the announcement for the Caves and Cliffs Part 1, there's a green variant that doesn't exist in the game. Why it was removed, who knows, but the emerald color would have been pretty cool.
Number 10. What came first, the pig or the creeper? Besides Steve and the removed human mob, the creeper is the oldest mob in Minecraft. But you might know the story of the creation of the creeper. The creator was trying to make a pig, but messed up the dimensions of the body. The pig is the oldest existing passive mob in the game, and technically the first mob intended to be in the game.
Number 11. Clearly, Minecraft's bees are an adorable addition, and it only takes one look at Twitter to see just how much the community loves these things. But have you ever wondered why they're so cute? Well, according to Mojang, they're specifically a half a block in size because the team considered that to be the cutest. And while I've never thought of it that way, it's hard to disagree.
Number 12. The unused Illusioner mob is pretty scary when it splits into a bunch of decoy clones. But as soon as they enter a boat, all of that fear disappears because they're actually quite weird. They shoot their projectiles backwards while in a boat for some reason.
Number 13. Unless we're talking about the secret killer rabbit, the bunnies in Minecraft are nothing to be afraid of. Though someone at Mojang disagrees. Because when Ravagers were tested in snapshot 18W43A, these pillager monsters were afraid of rabbits. Which is a fun Easter egg, but unfortunately, Jeb confirmed in a tweet that it was removed to maintain the beast's lore.
Number 14. You can get up to 28 experience points from killing one large slime and all of the slimes that split from it. This will yield between 12 to 28 experience with an average of 20. 4 experience from the largest, 8 experience from the 4 it splits into, and 16 from the 4 tiny ones. You'll still need another 1,367 to reach level 30 though.
Number 15. Minecraft has its fair share of pet trivia. Whether that's the secret texture you get for naming a rabbit Toast or a good time with Scar's Jellycat, there's no shortage of real life connections here. And Jeb has one of his own. As Lydia Winters confirmed, the Tuxedo Cat skin has a striking resemblance to Jeb's own pet cat, Newton. So if you have a name tag, you can pay tribute to that as well.
Number 16. Spiders don't touch the ground. Ever. We all know that they can climb walls, but it's physically impossible for them to touch the ground. Looking from the side in perfectly normal conditions, you'll notice that they actually float. I don't know why they float. Maybe the creators just didn't notice because of how tall the player is compared to a spider.
Number 17. Game development isn't always a perfect process. Like, sometimes you go to code a pig and instead make a terrifying monster. And while it's a fun story, it's apparently not a one-off. In the development video for the Village and Pillage update, Mojang revealed that foxes originally looked like this whole mess. And now I'm both disappointed and relieved this never made it in the final version. Number 18. If you've been lucky enough to get your hands on a blue axolotl, you know these things are a tough find. I mean, with a 1 in 1200 chance of finding these water wolves, it's definitely going to take some time. But there's a reason for that. You see, even though blue axolotls don't exist in real life, that 1 in 1200 number comes from the approximate number of axolotls that are still left in the wild today.
Number 19. You're short. In Minecraft, your hitbox is 1.8 blocks tall. An adult zombie's hitbox is 1.9 blocks tall in Bedrock Edition. An adult husk's hitbox is 2.01875 blocks tall. Oddly specific. Husks can't fit through a 2-block tall doorway in Bedrock Edition, but they can in Java Edition.
Number 20. Every now and then, Minecraft has an inconsistency I can't quite figure out. For instance, did you know that there's a damage discrepancy between Wither Skulls spawned in this way and one spawned in this way? Yeah, apparently Wither Skull projectiles from the summon command only do 5 magic damage on impact, whereas the ones from the boss do 8 on a direct hit. And why the difference? I got no clue, but maybe that's just me.
Number 21. Turtles turn into wooden bowls when they die from lightning. That's really sad. We can actually use this cruelty to our advantage to generate infinite bowls. All we've got to do is use a trident with channeling, hit a turtle, and harvest its shell. Or just, use a few planks and save some animals. Number 22. Wolves love bones. After you've managed to tame a wolf using a few bones, you'll likely put them away and not use them for a while. But if you get the bones back out and show them to your tamed wolf, it will tilt its head in the same way as it did before it was tamed. Tamed wolves can't even accept bones, but still love them just as much.
Number 23. Usually, when you see a skeleton, your first instinct is for fight or flight. But if you stop and look them over, you'll see this. In Java Edition, 89% of skeletons are right-handed, and the remaining 11% hold a bow in their left. And this emulates the estimated right-handed to left-handed percentage in the real world. And thankfully, there aren't any ambidextrous skeletons in the game. Number 24. Do you ever wonder where Mojang gets their inspiration? I mean, since the designs are so simplistic, it's easy to lose track of the real-world parallels. Take the cow for example. Apparently, this thing's supposed to be based off the Norwegian red cattle that you can see here, but honestly, I don't see much resemblance. And if this is the case, couldn't they have at least matched the color?
Number 25. Items are supposed to go in hoppers, but what about mobs? Baby chickens are able to hide within hoppers due to how small they are. This allows you to place a block next to them for a compact chicken trap or put lava right next to them. Just hope that they don't move or you'll be having roast chicken tonight.
Number 26. Minecraft has plenty of rare things to see, but one that was particularly tough to find was a naturally occurring snow golem. Prior to Snapshot 17W47A, there was a 1 in 5 trillion chance of a pumpkin either generating in a snowy biome or an enderman placing a carved pumpkin like so to spawn a snow golem. Number 27. Health points are a weird thing in Minecraft. Like, why does the Wither in Bedrock have double the health of the Java version? But a weirder quirk of HP that you might not have noticed relates to the Iron Golem and the Neglected Giant. You see, even though this secret mob towers over the golem, both actually have the same health of 100 points. The giants can't even do that right.
Number 28. When you create a fictional monster, you also get to make up your own terminology. So when you're trying to grab the dragon egg in the end, but keep getting interrupted by a group of endermen, what do you call that group? According to Dinnerbone, just as we have a flock of chickens or a drift of pigs, the collective noun is a haunting of endermen. A group of pandas is called an embarrassment, and that's a real world fact.
Number 29. As the lead creative designer, Jeb has a lot to say on what goes in the game, and apparently that can lead to some personal choices. So after Jeb's wife kept asking for a bear in the game, he told her that if they ever had a bear of their own, he'd add in the mob, which just so happened after their son was born. Polar bears were added to the game, and the son was named Bjorn for the Swedish word for bear.
Number 30. Shulkers are a downright pain, and we can all agree on that. But while they're not too friendly in the end cities, they're much nicer when you use these commands. By adding a shulker to a team, you can use it as a defense mob, meaning it won't attack you with your teammates, but rather use its projectiles on other hostile mobs. And that's a welcome change if you ask me.
Number 31. While there are plenty of Easter eggs and secrets to see within the game, some also exist in the files themselves. For instance, take a look at this Elder Guardian. Not much to see, right? Well, that all changes when we go into the mob's texture file. Here, we can see that Jeb even signed the texture in the lower corner, so even though it's not visible in game, you can rest assured knowing it's there.
Number 32. Breeding animals is an old tradition of Minecraft husbandry. But while most peaceful mobs can be bred under the right conditions, there are two without that designation. Unfortunately, if you want more parrots or bats in your world, you're not able to influence influence that, making it even more ironic that the advancement for breeding animals, the parrots and the bats, involves two unbreedable mobs.
Number 33. The game rule for mob griefing is a powerful tool, and while most of us associate this command with regards to creeper explosions and enderman theft, that's not the only limits. As it is, if you switch this command to false, you'll find that foxes can no longer pick up items, which I guess makes sense, but something tells me that holding a shulker box is nowhere near as much of a problem as a creeper detonation.
Number 34. Every now and then, Mojang add in a mob that's divisive to say the least. Sure, the Phantom and the Glow Squid are famous examples of this, and while it's easy to blame these on community voting, they're not the only ones. Actually, there are 4 mobs that resulted from the community voting, those being the Glow Squid, the Phantom, the Goat, and the Fox. So hey, they're not all that bad.
Number 35. Now, it's not news to anyone that Bedrock Edition has its fair share of quirks, and even then, this still might be the weirdest installment I've seen. As you can see, if we use this summon command with the tag on tame, then we can get a glitched out red wolf. And while our colors do match well, unfortunately, I couldn't find a way to tame it. Number 36. We've talked before that a splash potion of harming is a valuable asset to have, especially against armored foes. But even if it is strong, it's not exactly a one-hit kill, or at least it isn't with us. Though if you were to land a direct hit with a harming 2 potion on a cave spider, that's just enough to finish it off. But even with that trick, I'd rather just take out the spawner and be done with the whole thing.
Number 37. Back in 2014, ex-Mojang developer The Mog Miner was asked to include a tribute skin to a fan's rabbit named Toast, and after that feature was confirmed, this started the conversation for more rabbit varieties. And of course, this is where Twitter user 88bully suggested including the killer rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, adding both a fun Easter egg and a terrifying way to go. Number 38. Sometimes it's possible for 2 hostile mobs to get angry with each other, and while I'm sure you've seen this happen with skeletons and zombies, 2 witches getting in a fight is a rarer sight. Though if this happens, it'll never end, since the witches both have healing options and resistances to the other's splash potions. So if you get this happen, you'll have plenty of time to watch.
Number 39. Clearly, fish don't do well on land, and if you drain out a nearby lake, then the best you'll be left with is a bunch of floppy something or others. Though we could use that to our advantage. See, if you take a fish, or even a guardian, out of their natural habitat and put them on a slime block, then they'll keep bouncing up and up until they reach some serious height, even 17 blocks high in some cases.
Number 40. Unless you're a wandering trader, the invisibility potion probably doesn't get a lot of use, which can mean that certain uses go unchecked and sneak by in the code. Prior to snapshot 14W05B, if you hit a mushroom with the potion effect, its mushrooms remained visible, and it's understandable that Mojang would fix this for the effect to work properly, but it's quite fun to revisit.
Number 41. Now, some of you might be familiar with this guy, the so-called rarest mob in Java Edition. And while this has been talked about before, have you ever wondered what's the rarest mob in Bedrock Edition? Well, as it turns out, the hardest to find mob in that game is a fully decked out baby husk riding a brown panda. So if you see it, get the camera. Number 42. The Ender Dragon holds a lot of importance to the Minecraft world, but while most of us spend hours just trying to find and kill the thing, have you ever bothered to learn its name? Because yeah, according to Notch and Dinnerbone, she is actually named Jean, with a question mark at the end and everything. So if you're ready for that first name basis, then by all means.
Number 43. Obviously, Minecraft has plenty of quirks that don't make any sense, but even after the community has pointed these out, new ones rise to the surface. As an example, even though blazes do not have visible feet, the mob can still make footsteps sounds, making a weird audio-visual experience. Though it's worth mentioning that this is on the bug tracker, so it might be fixed after all.
Number 44. Pigs and saddles are not a common form of transportation, and while they do allow for a hovering glitch like so, that isn't too practical. However, they do have one thing against their horse rivals, and that's the ability to go through one-block spaces. Sure enough, if you're on a pig's back, you can ride the thing through a narrow gap like so. So if you're tired of crawling, I guess there's that.
Number 45. If you've played Minecraft PvP, then you're well aware of how impactful knockback can be. But while it's most useful there, Minecraft actually has a unique use for knockback in the base game, and it's for squids of all things. Apparently, hitting a squid underwater causes them to rise anywhere from a third to a half block, which isn't too useful, but now you'll know to look out for it.
Number 46. The Village and Pillage update was a huge status quo change for how we see these mobs, and while there were plenty of gameplay changes, we also got a fair share of new fashion to see as well, a lot of which is pretty out there. But as the lead artist confirmed on Twitter, the idea of something crazy like a lily pad hat came from the 2018 fashion shows Gucci and the like, and after looking at some of those runways, I think the villagers fit right in. Number 47. While Mojang has spoken out against adding certain modded features to the game, there is one notable exception, and that would be the 1.6 edition of horses. If you played Minecraft back in the day, I'm sure you remember the famous Mo Creatures mod, which, of course, had its own horses. From there, Mojang used these models as the baseline for the new horses, and just like that, a mod made it into the mainstay. And with that, special thanks to BlockFacts, take care, and have a good one, alright?